No, I know.
You know when you can't work with it. And for me,
or if the kid doesn't want it, if the parent wants it more than the kid.
100%. I had a meeting the other day and we were on Zoom and the mother was like, he really wants to act. And he's like, I hate acting. I don't.
Oh no.
Yeah. And he kept saying, I hate it. I don't want to do this at all. This sucks. He literally said, this sucks. I hate this. No, I don't. No, I don't. And the mom was, I said, sorry. I'm so sorry. And I felt terrible for this poor kid.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Successful. Young. Creative.
Yes, I know I'm gonna be successful.
I am so excited for today's episode because I have a truly incredible guest joining me, you guys. Someone who lives and breathes the world of young talent and the entertainment industry. I'm talking about the amazing Shanelle Gray. Yes! Shanelle isn't just a manager. She's a seasoned pro who started her own journey in this business as a kid. From Broadway stages to running one of the most successful acting studios out there. And now she is managing the top of the top kids in this business, okay? She brings over 20 years of experience, a no-nonsense approach, and a deep understanding of what it takes for kids to thrive in voice acting, and beyond in her company, Complete Management Group. In this episode, we're diving into some really important topics for you guys. We're talking about managing expectations in the industry, the importance of consistent training, and those crucial insights that can help avoid common missteps. We'll even hear about her unique approach to building a team of mom managers. Get ready for some honest, insightful, and super helpful advice from a true expert. Let's welcome Shanelle Gray. Yes, I am so happy to be here with Shanelle Gray. You are the bomb, girl.
Well, thank you. That's what I heard.
I love it. We got to have this confidence, man, because it goes on to the clients and they are booking. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Confidence is key, right?
It is. I can't even keep up with all of your clients and their bookings and everything. So I would love to just dive in since we have, we're going to have listeners that are like in the business. They know everything about what we're doing. Our language and our terms are second nature, but there's also a lot listening that are just interested in this, thinking about starting. And I just, everyone in Hollywood is so cool and everybody knows everything. I want to have a space where it's like, everybody doesn't know everything, and we can just talk about it.
I actually think a lot of people don't know enough.
Right? It's so true. It's so true. And we're, you can never be too cool to ask and learn. So I love that you're here. Thank you so much.
Inviting me.
Yes, I feel like I was like a fan of yours before knowing you because we had like mutual clients that we would work with, and just hearing about your management style and just your overall style, like as a person and mentor, which is just that real deal person, which is how I try to be too. You're giving it like it is, like you're not sugarcoating.
That's how I grew up. That's how I grew up. Back in the day, the managers and agents, when I grew up, that's how they were. I feel like today, there's a lot of sugarcoating going on, and I don't think it's helping people very much. But, you either love me or you don't.
Well, I love you, girl.
Thank you. I love you too.
Yes.
People like me, but I think that you either like my style or you don't.
Which makes you a great representative of other people. You're like, we're going to get this done. So I wanted to ask just like a little background on you. I know you started in the business like as a kid too, right?
Yes,
and then how that led you to becoming a manager.
Sure. Yeah. I was, first I was very, very young. I was in pageants, blah, blah, blah. My mom had a dream to have her daughter in pageants and movies and stuff like that. So she had put me in pageants. I remember the very first one I cried, and she was like, "Don't ever do that again." and listen, that was her style. Okay, I'm not saying that's something that would have been my style back in the day at 5 years old. But I went back to that next pageant, and I won every one. She told me not to cry again, so I won every one. And after that, I booked Les Misérables on Broadway. And I, remember my mom took me down to the big cattle call. I didn't have an agent or anything. I had this manager, Linda Townsend. She was like the biggest hot thing in Virginia. and where we lived. And she said, there's a, a cattle call in New York if you want to go down there and take her for the audition. So she took me down there. We waited in line, 500 people. Everyone was sleeping on the streets.
Wow.
And I auditioned for it, and I booked it.
Wow.
And so my mom and I moved down to New York in Astoria, Queens, and we lived in this little apartment. And it had cockroaches. We got scabies.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was pretty epic. It was pretty surreal. I mean, we were, living there. My dad and my brother were in Virginia still. My dad was trying to transfer his job. We were separated from the family, and we were doing it. We were on Broadway, and we were living the dream. It was different then, it was different then. I'm 46 years old. It was different then, about to be 47. So it was
and looking good, girl.
I'm looking fine,
Yes. We making 40s look right.
That's right. Thank you. But it was back in the day, it was different, we did 8 shows a week. We shared 8 shows a week. It was crazy, but it was my very first big job. And my mom ended up being the reason there was no mothers on set. And we had a chaperone. So no mothers were allowed on set, and there was a chaperone. And then after that, I booked a pilot, and we moved to LA. So that was the course of that. And then, had some issues with the mom. She became like an incredible stage mom, which, she was already mentally ill. So becoming an incredible stage mom was easy for her. And, really got her. The business really got her, which really showed me how to deal with parents today. I think, my mom's mental illness really showed me, how badly this business can get parents. And I think that I've helped a lot of parents from going that route. And I like difficult parents, to be honest with you, because I can help them.
Wow.
I can help them. I can help them not go that route.
Wow.
So difficult parents don't scare me. Nobody scares me. So
yes.
I've had the most difficult of them all. So nobody.
Wow. That is so, I had no idea like that. That's really interesting and amazing how you shift that. I mean, yeah, who's going to understand as much as you?
Well, yeah, I was in foster care. So all of that, kind of went to the wayside. I stopped acting for a while. I came back into acting at 18, and then I booked a soap opera, and then I booked another soap opera, and then I did a recurring role, and then I met my ex-husband, and we opened an acting studio. I opened an acting studio at 25. When I met my ex-husband, we renamed it, called it Gray Studios.
Gotcha.
Gray Studios became one of the largest studios out here.
Yeah.
We 20 plus years, very, very successful. I mean, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
When we divorced, we split. Shanelle Gray Studios, David Gray Studios. Probably seems silly, but it's actually not. We have fans. Both of us had fans.
Yeah.
And so Shanelle Gray Studios is still amazing, still going. I teach when I can. I have some amazing teachers there.
Is this a brick and mortar place, or is this online, or how can people?
We actually have a brick and mortar in Westlake where we do some musical theater, and we do. I love musical theater. I was on Broadway, so musical theater is a big passion. One of the reasons I do musical theater is for my kids. They love musical.
Her kids.
Yeah.
By the way. Oh my gosh, her daughters are just absolutely incredible. like shut your mouth and drop your jaw. Amazing. Yes.
I mean, they were born into it. My ex is an actor as well. He's a very good actor. He's a very good acting coach as well.
Mm-hmm.
His studio is wonderful as well. We split at first to probably not so amicably, but now we're very amicable.
That's great.
When you have an acting studio for over 20 plus years and it's successful, it was a dream. It was a dream. We had a huge building in North Hollywood that we sold when we divorced. Huge building in North Hollywood where we, did coaching and voiceover and musical theater.
Yes.
And my kids grew up there. And it was it was the best. And so and everybody who's anybody has gone to our studios.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, any actor that you name young actor has been to our studio. And I think that really helped also me manage. And a lot of those actors I manage,
Right. I was just gonna say that some of your students, that
Well,
really
that's how I found my
stood out.
original actors.
Uh-huh.
When I was splitting from my ex-husband, I wanted to do something different. I knew I had the acting studio, which eventually my kids are going to run. My kids are unbelievably talented, like you said.
Mhm.
So they're going to run that studio and I'm going to manage forever. And so I said, well, those actors are amazing. And those are the ones I want to manage. So I grabbed them and they wanted me to manage them. I mean, who better than me? I've been working with these agents and casting directors all of my 20 plus years.
Right.
So it's probably going to be me, right?
Yeah.
So I, which didn't make all the managers happy that I worked.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. What? Yeah.
But you know what, Tuff? You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I have to do what's right for me.
Mhm.
I had given to people for many, many years, and I was giving and giving and constantly giving and constantly
Mhm.
giving. And, the 1 minute I did for me, well, I had to do for me. I felt really bad about it, but I had to do for me, I know how to I knew how to be a manager from all different angles. As a mother, as an actor, and as a coach. And so, it was just such a easy transition for me.
Yeah, that's so
But
excellent. I'm
that's what
curious.
my whole background is from.
I love it. And so now with Complete Management Group, what are you guys do? I mean, you've got a lot of kids that I know that I've had the pleasure of working with as well. So there's a lot. I mean, there's too many to list, but any kind of current wins you want to talk about? Because I know.
Sure. Yeah, we have a lot of wins. I mean, right now we have a girl that's in a test right now for a big show, but we have a lot. We have Kira Crowder, skeleton crew from Star Wars. Caleb Dolden just did Teacup on Peacock. He's starting a Teacup on Peacock. We have Kinley Cunningham, who plays Kombucha in Nickelodeon's Thundermans.
Yes.
Thunderman Recoup. Our little winner who you really, 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 really helped. Our little Camden Brooks.
Oh, love him.
Just a star who just he's lead in a feature.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
That I caused a whole scene in the Cheesecake Factory when his parents told me. Amazing. Yeah, that was so great. He's such a star, Camden Brooks, and he came in. Shanelle sent him in here for his agent read. When you read, for Osbrink. So he signed to Osbrink for voiceover, and when these agencies are interested in you, they'll send a list of scripts that they have, even if you have a demo and things. They want to hear how you're going to read, and so he came in here to work with me for that, and they ended up signing him after that. And woohoo! He is doing a big. Oh, I can't wait for that. We'll come back to announce.
He's going to be. I mean, when you book something like that, I think people don't understand. You beat out coast to coast. Right. You beat out coast to coast people, not coast to coast agency, but coast to coast people.
Right.
Audition when you book a series regular. They audition in Atlanta. They audition they audition in Canada. They audition in LA. You're booking like Kinley, for instance. For Kombucha, they auditioned in every city. This girl beat out 5,000 girls, so it's not easy.
Right.
So sometimes, when I hear somebody come to the table and say, "We try acting."
Right.
Next. For me, it's next.
Right.
I'm not interested in anybody who wants to try acting.
Right.
It is very hard work.
Very.
And that's not, it is hard work. You have to train. Also, anybody that's not interested in training, I'm not interested.
Right, for sure. Yeah, it's an ongoing. Yes, it's definitely, and just you learn something every time, and
all the time, all the time.
And it's actually interesting. I had a question I wanted to ask you, kind of like, I guess 2 parts, is like things that you wish that parents understood a little more about the business, which also kind of leads into like some mistakes to avoid. I guess. There's a lot when you could just say advice, but I'd like to take it the other way of like more like I wish they understood this and kind of not to do this.
I wish parents understood that just because you're submitted and pitched doesn't mean you're getting the audition.
Mhm.
I also wish the parents understood that your agent wants you to get the audition.
Mhm. Mhm.
I also wish that parents understood that it's not because of your child's acting that they didn't get the audition, that they didn't get the job.
Right.
Sometimes the best actor doesn't always get the job.
Mhm. Maybe you even look too much like who you're going to be in the scene with. I mean, there's so many.
So there's so many factors involved to booking, to getting the audition, to there's a lot of actors that don't have the opportunity.
Mhm. Mhm.
And there's just so many factors involved.
Yeah, right.
And
kind of like it's a long game. I'm sure there's a lot of like
it's
there's
a
lot of hurry up
marathon.
and wait.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And that's what I say.
Mhm.
And my actors, my clients, they know that.
Mhm.
Because if they don't know that, they're not with me.
Right.
And I've actually, when I do a drop for clients, because every so often a manager and agent, they have to do a drop. There's absolutely no way that they can keep certain clients for the long term, because you find out who clients are over the course of time.
Mhm.
It's almost not at all about what they book or all of that. It's about who they are and what they understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm about to do one, and there's a few of them on there that it's not about, but there's one that he books. But if he asks me one more time, where his auditions are, and he doesn't read Variety, and he gets auditions, I might lose my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, because the jobs are very less, right?
And I'm also, this reminds me how following a lot of my clients along the path of growing up, and how there are a lot more, it seems, for the younger age, and that kind of teen drop off is where there is a scarcity in that age range. You see that too.
Once you're 18 and above or 20 and above, it drops, because if you haven't gotten a show or a lot of credits by the age of 22, 21, your audition ratio is going to go down, because people with credits are going to take the roles.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
And if you're starting the industry at that age, just be prepared to wait and work the 2W, because they're going to take the roles.
Yeah. Right.
And, it's a 10-year plan for adults, and it's a 5-year plan for kids. I say that.
That's great. That's great to hear too, just to put that general thing out there.
I say it up front,
Yeah.
Do not expect this to be overnight. And if
Right.
it is overnight, you got really lucky.
Yeah. And that's an interesting thing that I'd like to do a separate episode or two on preparing yourself for, like, after the big role, that there might be some downtime, which every actor goes through, everybody goes through, but it's harder to deal with this stuff as a kid. And so the more info you have, and the more kind of prepared to thicken your skin.
It's harder for the people that have done a show, that come off of a show and then expect something else.
Right.
And we really try to focus on the people that have come off the show, to try to get them something right away, or try to get a project, or try to, I do focus on that. I try to look for the projects. I try to jump on the grid and see what's coming out there.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's no work.
Right. Sure.
In this day and age, there's so much less work. We're all fighting for the work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it was back in my day. There was so much work.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much work.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was getting work.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't good, you got work.
Yeah.
It's different today.
Yeah, it is. And it's good, for them to keep their creativity up, and, like you say, stay in classes and stay around your peers, and and all of that. So I'm just curious if you have some tips because you're an amazing coach as well. I mean, just,
Thank you.
she's awesome. I like her. Can you tell? Calm down.
I like you.
Calm down. Okay. So, but I'm like a little just descriptive, maybe blurb for younger kids when they're auditioning for something, which I see a lot. And I know you do too. It's kind of that delivery that's like hands on the hips, like loud and just screaming the lines out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you're in there in the trenches knowing that generally these casting directors and productions are looking for that real kid energy.
Mm-hmm.
So just, I don't know if you have something to just explain that a little bit to people, because some parents, again, that are just starting and their kids like reading an audition, they're probably thinking like, gosh, you sound too relaxed, or like, give it some oomph, or whatever we're used to seeing on stage or pageants, or, the kids that are heavy in dance where they're being, they're looking at the movement and they're being graded on that perfection level, and how that changes a little bit for voiceover.
There's a lot of completely delusional parents, and I really wonder where they're coming from. I often ask parents, would you watch that on TV? I say,
yeah, like based on an audition.
Yeah. And I say, watch that again. Would you watch that on TV? I make parents and children watch their auditions over and over. And I say, if you wouldn't watch that on TV, don't send it to me.
Right.
Don't send it to me. Mm-hmm. Because I think oftentimes parents are like, oh my God, they're so cute.
Right.
And they're not thinking of, she's supposed to be scared of her dad.
Right.
Well, and this is not an acceptable audition. And I'll oftentimes go to a convention, and I'll for some peers of mine, I don't it's not often to where I want to be exactly, but I do go for peers of mine that run conventions, and I'll go and I'll sign a cute, very cute kid, and I'll say to the parent, this is a development.
Yeah.
Because they are not going to book
at this current level.
Now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I will say that. Yeah. And the parent will say, oh, okay. And I say, really? They're not going to book right now. Oh. Right. They're very surprised that I'm saying that, because they're so cute. The parent can't do it. And then the parent sees an audition from a 7-year-old that I have that has been doing this since 4 and training. And then they see their child's audition for the scared dad.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Thank you for showing me that. Right. And I think that it just takes some real, talking to. But the key is, if the child is under 10, I like to just say, shrug it off, shrug the line off. So, shrug it off. Maybe if they have to say, okay, Dad, or shrug it off, because they don't understand anything else. I don't want to say 10 and under. I want to say 7 and under. Mm-hmm. Because 8, 9, and 10, they understand.
Yeah.
They understand more, and they should.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But a parent needs to understand the child needs to be in class. And I'm a strong believer, Genevieve, that you can't teach a child to act. You can enhance upon their ability.
Right.
You can't teach a child from nothing.
Yeah.
And you can enhance, like I said, enhance upon their ability. And acting class is for practicing memorization, learning how to improv, keeping up with the Joneses, making sure you can outact with peers, understanding the craft, and making sure that you keep yourself on top of the game. But nobody in acting class and no acting teacher, I don't care what they say, is going to teach you how to act. So go to the class that you like the best. Have fun. Mm-hmm. Have fun. Mm-hmm. But I'm not making, Oscar winners out of some of these kids. I am making them better.
Right.
And I am making them stronger. And I believe I have the best actors in town. But I'm not making a kid who's not acting good at how to act. But if I meet a kid like that, I'm going to save their mom a lot of money, because I'm going to tell her, listen, this is not for you.
Right.
If they still think it's for them, go for it. It's not with me, but go for it. Yeah. Because I think that a lot of these people, I feel really, really bad when I go to some of these conventions and I see some of these children and some of these adults and whatever getting really taken advantage of.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like, is it, and again, that's one of the things that some of those conventions, they can sell you on the whole package and it's,
oh,
if
it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. I mean, you see people that could barely even talk up there in these conventions and they're like 35 years old and somebody's told them they had a shot because they took their $5,000. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. It's about, yeah, being honest with yourself. That's the thing. Like I did in my very first episode of this was like, parents, does it sound like a kid reading from a paper? You have to know, does it? It's like,
Sometimes though, Genevieve, sometimes it'll sound like a kid reading from a paper, but they got something, right?
right. Yeah. Oh yeah. And they made those decisions on their own, or it's interesting. They're riding the roller coaster. Their voice doesn't sound monotone.
That's right.
There's something there, and you're like, let's
So
take you out of it.
You can work with that.
Oh, we can work with that.
But
we can work with that.
sometimes
No, I know.
you know when you can't work with it, and for me,
or if the kid doesn't want it, if the parent wants it more than the kid.
100%. I had a meeting the other day, and we were on Zoom, and the mother was like, "He really wants to act." And he's like, "I hate acting. I don't."
Oh no.
Yeah, and he kept saying, "I hate it. I don't want to do this at all. This sucks." He literally said, "This sucks. I hate this." No, I don't. No, I don't. And the mom was, I said, "Sorry. I'm so sorry." And I felt terrible for this poor kid.
Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, stuff like that. You know? But those are the kind of tips I always say, like read the breakdown. Those are your biggest clues.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. If you have 2 lines and the breakdown says this character is deep down, he's a nice guy. And in the script, he's being mean.
Right.
But deep down, he's a nice guy. So how do you play it?
Yeah. There's a lot of gems in there.
Right.
That.
So the breakdown is what tells you.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are going to go, they're going to play me.
Right.
But the guy that's going to play it a little vulnerable is the guy that's probably going to get it. Right. So there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
But I think that the people that are really smart and understand their craft are the ones that are going to get it.
Mm-hmm. This is so cool. So how can people work with you? I can't even imagine you have room on your roster for talent.
I'm currently not signing talent. But I look at everybody's packages.
Right.
I am one person that looks at everybody's packages. People respond back to me all the time and say, "Thank you so much for responding back to me."
Yeah.
I'll say, "You know what? I'm full in your category, but you're a really great actor."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for looking at my stuff."
Right.
I do look at everybody's stuff. People can email me at Shanelle@completemanagement.com and MGMNT.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll look at the whole package. Send me the videos, send me the pictures. If somebody, I'm like, I gotta have this person, I'll respond.
Yeah.
That happened to me, a boy in Puerto Rico. I looked at his package.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this kid is amazing. I signed him with Paradigm and he's a star.
Okay.
This kid could be a star.
Oh.
And I work with the 5 biggest agents. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I feel like that's the way I do it,
Yeah. And that's great too, because they trust you sending your people in, and you're not like knowing that you're not going to just take anyone. It would, you're not here to waste anybody's time on either end.
I'm not, but I will look at every package. Like I'm not actively signing. I'm not looking for people.
Uh-huh.
But if you send me your package and you're somebody I can't live without, I'm gonna ask you to come on my roster.
Right.
But I feel like that, I feel like some managers are actively looking. I'm not. I feel like I have the people on my roster that I want.
That's great. And do you have junior managers under you that are also, that could potentially, if you yourself can't, or does you mean that as the conglomerate of complete
something
management?
Fun that I do. This is something that I know that other managers don't do. This is something very fun that I do. I have, my first cousin, Alina, who's been my best friend since life. She used to own a voiceover agency in the East Coast for over 20 years, the same time that I was doing.
That's so cool.
And she closed her voiceover agency and came to manage with me. And so we have a lot of voiceover connections as well. We get our people a lot of voiceover jobs. She's one of my main managers. She's also my partner, but not, you know what I mean? And I own the company, but she's a partner. And I have another manager named Christian. And so Christian, I started junior managing mothers of my clients. So once their child works a lot, and their child,
who knows better than what
that's right.
what they're going to need.
That's right. Once their child works a lot, I start junior managing mothers, and they will bring on friends that they feel are good representation, and they will manage those friends.
So great.
And so I have 3 mothers employed now. And so I have 3. So Tia is now a manager.
Oh, which is so manager. Great. Yes, and we love Tia. She's actually on the podcast too. And her girls are the Collins girls, Jazara and Amira Collins, working all the time. And she's another straight up, this is how it is type of person like us. So that's really great.
I believe in employing mothers because their kids are going to grow up, and nobody understands this business like a good mother of an actor. And, you know, not that I disrespect anybody else doing the business.
Oh, yeah.
But if you were an actor, a mother of an actor, and all of it, you understand.
Totally.
So, you know,
1000%. My father manages me and has for years, and he was a touring musician around the world, and then it's all it works. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that nobody understands better than these women. I will be employing a ton of mothers. So for me, the more the merrier, because they make money, I make money. And they also learn. And then once their child is 18 and they're not wanting them anymore, these mothers have a job that they love.
Amen, girl.
And that's right.
Yes.
And so it's almost like, I don't want to say the pyramid scheme, right? But it's not, but it is but I want them to be employed.
Exactly.
And I want them to have something that they love to do. And more importantly, I want them to direct people in the proper way.
Exactly.
And you know,
save some people from a lot of missteps, and
because there's a lot of managers out there, and I'm not saying anything about the managers, but you know, for instance, you know, my kids have a manager that we haven't talked to in 6 months, and you know, I know she will be watching this podcast because she doesn't even have social media. So the truth of the matter is that at one point it was a great relationship, but the truth is that there's a lot of managers out there that have no idea about any side of the industry except for their college degree. And that's not, a manager really is a 24/7. And some managers are like, don't call me after 6, don't call me on the weekend, don't call me whatever. That's not a manager. So the truth is that a manager is a 24/7. And that's what it really is. On the movies, when you see the manager talking to their client, that is the job of a manager. So, you know,
I was going to ask you, and I didn't want to draw this out to be too long, but you're too interesting, and I won't keep you for too much longer. But you know, that's a great kind of segue into kind of describing the difference between a manager and an agent, again, for people that don't know. So
an agent is done at 6 o'clock. They are. You have to let them go because they have a million clients. They can't mess with you all day. They have to pump out the appointments. You know, legally, a manager isn't supposed to procure work. Legally. Now, we do, but we're not supposed to procure work. We're supposed to get you a kick-ass agent, which I do. A lot of managers are out there, you know, I got you this audition, I got you this audition. So did the agents. The agent got the same audition. What else are you doing? You know, a lot of managers don't even get their clients agents. They just sit around. So they're supposed to hook you up with the right PR, hook you up with the right agent. Make sure make sure they talk to casting directors about you. You know, yes, we procure work even though we're not supposed to, but you know, make sure they're there for you 24/7. Make sure you know how to dress for your auditions. I also coach, but I mean, there's so many more things a manager is supposed to be there for.
Right.
You know, you have your agent who has a million different clients because they have to pump out those appointments, negotiate those deals, make sure they get the most money possible. And all these agents work with these managers. So you got these big agents. They have their managers. They have their managers that they work with. Okay, that's it. They don't want to work with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. But then they talk to the managers. They talk to the managers. They talk to the managers. If your agent has a good relationship with your manager, you're good. But if your agent doesn't have a good relationship with your manager, or you don't have a manager, you're probably going to get lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a manager is good for. But there's a big difference between a manager and an agent. And there's only certain agents that talk to the clients. And usually the client is booking a lot for them to talk to you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They're just too busy. It's not because they're jerks.
Sure. Right. Right.
And a manager is not supposed to have 1,000 clients. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
And if your manager has 1,000 clients, they're an agency. That's not a manager.
Mm-hmm.
When I grew up, when I was auditioning with Brittany Murphy. I actually played twins with her on Murphy Brown. But Brittany Murphy, Reese Witherspoon, we all had the same manager. Her name was Marianne Leone. She worked like this. That was it. She was like, she had 35, 40 clients. Everybody worked, and she dealt with the agents. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't ask Marianne, you showed up to your audition. You didn't show up late. You didn't, you wear your outfit. Same with me. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know you're not memorized? It says do not have to be memorized in advance of audition. Show me the one that booked it that wasn't memorized. So your job as an actor to memorize. People ask me that all the time. That's something that drives me crazy too. The job as an actor to be memorized.
Mm-hmm. Right. And yeah, that's great. And I love it. I'm sure you keep people on your toes, your clients and the agents, I'm sure. And yeah.
Listen,
So
there's 5 series out. I booked 3 and I have one testing right now. Listen, I'm
yeah.
So you can say whatever I am, I'm tough, or whatever I am tough.
Yeah.
But if you want to book, you have to do your job as an actor.
Yes. And you best believe they've been mentored, coached, and managed by you. They're going to be ready when they show up on set.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's really great. Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. I could talk all day.
I know.
All day. So good. Is there anything like going on with your studio? Anything we can tell people about? Are there summer programs?
Make a movie camp. Summer program.
Make a movie camp. Tell me about that.
I'm directing. I'm directing a short film, which is in 5 days. We do a really great short film. IMDb credit. It's only $550.
Oh my goodness.
It's awesome. We do a real location. We make a movie.
How many kids can you fit? Are you doing several? What are the?
We're doing several, so
Great.
they can just roll. But it's a really great opportunity, and
And then they have demo reel footage.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
they have demo reel footage, and they have IMDb credit.
Oh.
So I direct all the film camps, and they are just super fun. Super fun.
Wow. What are the ages
And also
for
the
that?
footage is really, really good.
Great.
So yeah, if they go on the website, watch the last film, it's really, really good. And ShanelleGrayStudios.com.
All right.
And that's really great. And check out the classes; they're really good.
Yeah. So you've got other like voiceover classes, acting classes over
We're
Zoom.
mostly acting, acting, improv, and we're about to lay in musical theater. I send most of my people voiceover for you. But
I love that. Thank you too, by the way. We've had just so much fun. Oh my gosh. And again, I know if you're sending them to me, they're going to be amazing already. So.
The way that our studio works is everything's included in one package. So they can't just take one class. It's just like it's all included. So they get all the classes that they want. So
I love that.
It's super fun.
Oh my gosh. This is so great. I'm just so excited to chat with you, and I love it. And people can follow you. Is your social private?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So my social's private at Shanelle Gray, Gray. And I would love to, talk to anybody that wants to talk.
Oh, I love that. One last question as we go.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on social media? I mean, because people like us, when somebody messages us and is talking about their kid, if I can just click on the Instagram and it's like there, I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like we want to have the actors access and all that. But are you actively looking at Instagram a lot? Is that your
if somebody's pitching to me, I'll look at social media. I spoke to a parent the other day. It's like, I don't want to get her social media. I said, you need to get her social media. This is the new world.
Yeah.
So if you don't have social media, I mean,
that's where people go. It's just what it is.
New world. casting directors are looking at social
Yeah.
media. Everyone's looking at social media.
Yeah.
It's a new world.
Yeah.
So suggest whatever age
And
you are,
parents
you're
can manage it. You don't even have to, the kid doesn't.
kid. That's what I told the client. I said, get her social media. She doesn't need to ever look at it.
Right.
It's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, social media is important.
Yeah.
And it's not about the followers. It's about you
Right.
putting stuff on social media.
Yeah. It's your chance to have like a magazine. It's your channel.
That's
It's
what
your
I'm saying.
thing.
Yes, it's your job. You chose this job as an actor. It's your opportunity and your job to promote yourself.
Yeah.
This is the world where you need to promote yourself. What is the difference between Actors Access and Instagram?
Yeah. Other
Really?
than your
Everybody's
other than your
looking at-
friends also being on there. But you
Yeah,
know,
but
that's
I mean,
great.
like, you know, what is the difference between casting networks? How do you know who's behind casting networks? Who's
Right.
looking at casting networks? You know?
That's true. That's true.
You know? How do
Right.
you know who's saying that they're a casting director? How do you know? Anybody can get on breakdown services. They say that they govern it. Really, so many people are on it.
Right.
You know, everybody's on it. Every freak. So, you know, so how do they know?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
Get
it's time. It's time. We gotta just shake it off. Yes, we got. And
Exactly.
if you want to be in this business, I mean, nobody's forcing you to be
oh,
in
yeah,
it,
don't
but
worry
that's
about
part of it.
social media if you're on a farm.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Unless you want to show it, you might make money.
Yeah. How many farming clients do you have?
Exactly.
How many farmers do you have?
That's
Huh?
right.
Oh
That's
my
right.
gosh, this is so amazing. Thank you so much. I feel like there's a wealth of info there, and just to be so like open with it, I just appreciate it. You know, I think
Anytime.
it's cool for people to be able to just listen that are still
Yeah.
kind of.
Anytime
figuring
you
it out.
want, you let me know.
Oh, I love it. Done deal. Yes. Next time we'll do it in person
Yes.
and head out
Sure.
somewhere after
Sure.
together, which needs
Yes,
to
we
happen
will.
too.
You will.
Yes, you are amazing. Thank you so
You are.
much.
Love you, babe.
Yes,
we'll
love
talk
you too.
soon, okay?
See you
Mwah.
soon.
SYC.
Successful. Young.
SYC.
Creative.